While discussing the hostages still being held, the Biden administration says it's trying to find a way forward. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says that he has been meeting with family members of American hostages held by Hamas, and he described the suffering the families are enduring. White House Correspondent Owen Jensen reports. Owen.
Tracy, as Israel goes after Hamas, determined to destroy it once and for all, hopes for another temporary truce have faded, and dozens of hostages, Americans among them, remain in captivity.
The U.S. continues pledging unwavering support to Israel, making that clear, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan.
They have every right to go after the Hamas terrorists who committed this brutal massacre on October 7th and who continue to fire rockets just in the last hours at civilian areas in Israel.
As for the hostages still being held, Americans among them, Hamas said talks on releasing more of the hostages brutally seized on October 7th must be tied to a permanent ceasefire.
What these families are going through is gut-wrenching, it's heart-wrenching, and it's unimaginable, unthinkable for any of us.
As the war nears 2 months, the U.S. pressing Israel to avoid more mass displacements and the killing of civilians. Vice President Kamala Harris, during a visit to the region, said the U.S. would not allow the forced relocation of Palestinians out of Gaza or the West Bank, or the redrawing of Gaza's borders.
We have been very clear about where we stand on this, which is innocent civilian lives should not be intentionally targeted, and that Israel must do more to protect innocent life in Gaza and innocent civilians in Gaza.
The U.S. hoping to keep the war from expanding. The U.S. military says 3 commercial ships in the Red Sea were struck by ballistic missiles fired from Houthi-controlled Yemen, and a U.S. warship shot down 3 drones in self-defense. Back in the White House press briefing room, the press secretary adding this.
We have seen the increase of anti-Semitism, and we understand the fear that people in the Jewish community must be feeling right now.
Pope Francis has called the end of the truce painful. He says it means more death, destruction, and misery. And regarding the hostages, the Pope said, quote, "Let's think of them, of their families who had seen a light, a hope of embracing again their loved ones." At the White House, Owen Jensen, EWTN News Nightly.